In this session, we will discuss about the pairwise comparison method. In the previous session, we have used the ANOVA, analysis of variance method, to test the hypothesis. Using the ANOVA, analysis of variance, we have tested for this hypothesis under null hypothesis. We have tested that all the k treatment means or all the k population means are equal versus at least two of population means are different. Then in the analysis of variance, if you brief about this method, then uh, it does not tell us that which of the K population treatment means may be considered as different from others. It is like this. Now think about if you have performed this hypothesis H naught and H1, H naught and H1, null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. In this case, if we reject this null hypothesis, if we are rejecting H naught, then what we are concluding is there is at least one population mean is different from others, or at least two population means are different from each other. Then what we can do is, if we are rejecting this H naught, then we have to identify which population means are differ from other. Which population means are differ from other. Then, in an experiment, when this ANOVA F is rejected, it is like if we are rejecting this H naught, then we have to say that at least two population means are differ from each other, and then we have to perform the comparison. We have to perform the comparison for all the possible pairs of treatment, all the possible treatments, and there is one concept called the contrasting. For the contrast also, we have to perform this comparison, and you have to identify which treatments are different from others. It is like this. Now think about if you have performance, if you have conduct this experiment, you are having three treatment methods and you have tested for the hypothesis mu1 equals mu2, mu2 equals mu3. In this case, now think about this is your null hypothesis H naught, and H1 would be at least at least one treatment mean is differ from others. At least one treatment mean is differ from others. Now, if you have rejected this H naught, then you have to test whether which treatments are differ from each other. Therefore, in this case, you have to identify the possible pairs. Therefore, the possible pairs would be 1 and 2 would be one possible pair. Then 2 and 3 would be another possible pair, and 1 and 3 would be another possible pair. Now you can see that you may think that now you can see that another person can say that 2 and 1 is also another possible pair. Even though 2 and we are having 2 and 1, we have already considered it as 1 and 2. Therefore, we are just taking the mean differences. Therefore, this would be equal to 2 and 1 nodes. Therefore, 2 and 3 would be equal to the difference between 3 and 2. It is because we are always considering about the magnitudes. Therefore, only the positive values will be considered. Therefore, no negative values will be considered for this comparison. Okay. Therefore, now think about if you are having k number of treatments, then we are saying that uh, this number of treatment pairs would be existing. Therefore, we are denoting it by K2, means that among K number of, you have to select 2. And this will be equal to KC2. This will be equal to KC2. KC2 means, in here you can say that it is K times K minus 1 divided by 2. Therefore, if you are using this expansion of this KC2, then you may end up with this some factorials. Then if you have solved it, then you end up with this calculation as k times k minus 1 divided by 2. And when you go for this pairwise comparison, there is not only one method to perform this pairwise comparison method. There are several pairwise comparison methods, but according to the situation, we have to identify which pairwise comparison method should be used. And prior to perform this pairwise comparison, what you have to do is we have to perform this ANOVA and we have to confirm that our null hypothesis, it means that all the treatment means are equal, that hypothesis should be rejected. If and only if that thing happens, then we are going for this pairwise comparison methods to test for all the possible pairs for each method. If you see about the methods that we are considered for this pairwise comparison, these are not the all the methods we are having for this pairwise comparison. There is just a set of methods that we can use for the pairwise comparison. The first one is Bonferroni t-test. Then next method is Tukey's test. Third method is Duncan's multiple range test. And fourth one is the Dunnett's test. Therefore, these are the four tests we are discussing under this pairwise comparison method. And I told you previously also, we cannot apply each test for each and every experiment. Therefore, there are some specialties in these pairwise comparison methods. Therefore, according to that specialty, you have to identify which pairwise comparison should be used. Therefore, here it says that if we are only interested in a small number of pairwise comparisons, we are using this Bonferroni t-test. And Tukey's test is using, or sometimes it says as Takey's test, Tukey's or Takey's test. Then, if we are considering or if we are interested in all the pairs or pairs, most of the possible pairs in that experiment for this pairwise comparison of means, then we can use this Tukey's test. And uh, when we need to use the Dunnett test, we are saying that if you need to compare the treatments with the control, in this situation only, we are using this Dunnett test. Therefore, now you can identify that for which situations which test is appropriate. Bonferroni t-test is normally used if you are having a small number of pairwise comparisons. Tukey's test is using if we are having all pairwise comparison or the most pairwise comparison of means, and Dunnett test is using if you need to compare the treatment with the control. Now we will see about these tests one by one, and I will discuss some examples for each of these tests. Okay, first one is the Bonferroni t-test, and another method we are another name calling for this is the least significant difference method. Okay, now think about the experiment with k number of treatments or k number of population. Since we are having k number of population or treatments, then there would be KC2, two chosen from k number of uh, possible pairs of means. It is what we have discussed previously using this notation. This K2 notation stands for this KC2. You have to choose two among this k number of population. Therefore, this can be written as k times k by k minus 1 divided by 2. In this Bonferroni t-test, what we are testing is mu I equals mu j, and here it should be h1, mu I equals null hypothesis, mu I equals mu j versus alternative hypothesis would be mu I does not equals to mu j. Here we are using these notations, but we will see how we can apply this in a practical scenario. Now think about again, there are three types of treatment, 1, 2, and 3. If you need to test this, then I told you that there are k two chosen from k. Therefore, T2, this can be written as how? K times k minus 1 divided by 2. Therefore, altogether there are three possible pairs. Altogether there are three possible pairs. Now, for this Bonferroni t-test, we have to first of all identify what are those pairs. Therefore, as an example, in the previous one also, I told you that the possible pairs would be 1 and 2, 1 and 3, then 2 and 3. Therefore, these are the three possible pairs. Therefore, if you are constructing the hypothesis, you have to construct these hypotheses for each of these pairs. Therefore, if you consider this first case, then your H naught would be what? Now you can say one of these would be I and one of these would be J. Therefore, here we can say that mu1 equals mu2 and H1 would be mu1 not equals mu2. In the second one, you have to construct the hypothesis as the null hypothesis H naught mu1 equals mu3 and alternative hypothesis would be mu1 not equals to mu. Therefore, this is how you are constructing the hypothesis under this Bonferroni t-test. Therefore, um, I will furthermore discuss about this constructing these hypotheses in the using an example, but the method of constructing hypothesis is this. And you can use this 3C2 method to identify whether you have identified all the possible pairs. If you need to check for this hypothesis, the test statistics used for the hypothesis is the t-test. It is the since it is Bonferroni t-test, we are using t-statistics to test for this hypothesis. Then the test statistics would be T equals yi bar. It means that the ith population mean minus the jth population mean divided by square root of MSE. This is the value for me. What we are saying is the mean square error. We are obtaining this value from the ANOVA table into 1 divided by Ni. Ni stands for the sample size or the number of observations in the ith treatment, and this plus 1 divided by Nj, where Nj is the number of treatments in the number of elements in observations in the jth treatment. And the decision rule is if the absolute value of t is greater than this t value, degrees of freedom for the t value would be n minus k. It is equal to the error degrees of freedom. When you see about this complete randomized design, in there, the error degrees of freedom, if you see about if we have k number of treatments, then degrees of freedom of treatment would be k minus 1, degrees of freedom of total would be n minus 1, and if you get the difference between these two, you have obtained the this as degrees of freedom of error, treatment, error, and total. Therefore, this is how you have defined the degrees of freedom for complete randomized design. Therefore, this n minus k would be always the degrees of freedom of error, and you are using alpha divided by 2. It is because here you are using a two-sided test. Since we are using a two-sided test here, you have to use this alpha divided by 2 quantity, and this absolute of t value is greater than this critical value or this stable value, then we have to reject the H naught. Therefore, this is the decision rule. But by combining this statistics and the decision rule, means that in the point of this absolute value of this, then you can identify an inequality in this form. Therefore, rather than using the test statistics and decision rules in two separate stages, we are combining these two and we are obtaining this inequality. And we are using this inequality to make these calculations easy. Therefore, if you write this absolute value of this, always this square root value, we are considering its positive value. Therefore, if we are considering the absolute value, the only thing we have to consider is the difference of these treatment fields. Therefore, what we can get is we are considering the absolute value of yi bar minus yj bar. It is the ith treatment means the difference between ith treatment mean and the jth treatment mean. Therefore, if this difference, absolute value of this difference is greater than this quantity, here this is the critical value we are obtaining, and this is what we are seeing in the denominator of the test statistic. Therefore, if you substitute this t value in the decision rule, you can easily obtain this inequality. Therefore, use this inequality to make the decision if this happens. If the difference, absolute value of the difference is greater than this value, then we have to reject the H naught, or we are rejecting null hypothesis. Under the null hypothesis, what you have written was the two means are equal versus two means are not equal. Therefore, if you are rejecting null hypothesis, we can say that those are not equal, those are not having equal treatment means. Okay, now we will go for an example. This is the example which I have given as the exercise for you. I am considering it for here as the example. Uh, in that exercise, I asked you to construct the ANOVA table to test for the sulfur content of the five major coals. Therefore, the data set is as previous and the summary statistics are given below. Under that, uh, if I brief about this data set, these are the five core seams identified from five geographical zones, and then they have tested for the sulfur content under these core seam 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these are the observations that they have tabulated for the sulfur content. Therefore, if you see about the mean values for the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one, those are five population. Therefore, we can consider them as the five different treatment. Therefore, treatment 1, mean of the treatment 1 would be 1.66, mean of treatment 2, 1.17, mean of treatment 3, 1.46, mean of treatment 4 is 0.88, and mean of treatment 5 is again 0.88. Therefore, in this example, in the first part, they are asked to construct the ANOVA table and write down the hypothesis that you would test for this using the ANOVA table under the significance level of alpha equals 0.05. And you are asked to write down the conclusion. It is in the first part. And in this next part, part B, it says that if the results give that there is a significant difference in the mean sulfur content, in simply we can say that if H naught is rejected, hmm, if H naught is rejected, they are asked to perform the pairwise comparison using this Bonferroni t-test and identify which coal seams are different. Therefore, as the first part, this is what we have discussed previously, obtained of the ANOVA table. Therefore, you can perform the calculation and you can obtain this ANOVA table. If you see about the ANOVA table, you can see that a treatment having the degrees of freedom as 4, sum of the squares 3.935, and the having the mean square division or the ratio between sum of the squares and degrees of freedom 0.9838, and for the error they have got the mean square as the 0.1215, and the obtained F ratio is 8.09. And this is the ANOVA table obtained as the answer. And in here they are saying that what would do test using this ANOVA table. Therefore, the suitable hypothesis which need to test using this ANOVA table is all the five treatment means are equal versus at least one treatment mean is differ from others. At least one treatment mean is differ from others. Therefore, here what we can do is, since we are having five coefficients, you are having five populations. Therefore, null hypothesis would be mu1 equals mu2 equals mu3 equals mu4 equals mu5, and alternative would be, or at least one treatment mean is differ from others. And using the ANOVA table, you can see that the calculated F value is 8.09. And you have to identify the critical value. To identify the critical value, you are considering the F table. The degrees of freedom for the F table would be treatment and error. Therefore, 4 and 37 would be the degrees of freedoms, and the value of alpha or the significance level is 0.05. Therefore, using the F table, if you again have a look about the table, I have included it as the Annexure 1. In the first annexure, you can see that the value is for numerator degrees of freedom is 4, and if you mark it like this, and then numerator and denominator is 37, therefore the most closer value to this 37 would be 40. Therefore, I will use this 40 is this value. Therefore, the value you are taking here is 2.606. Therefore, value is 2.606. Then we are comparing the calculated value with this critical value. Then what you will get as the decision. Then since the calculated depth value is greater than the critical value, H naught is rejected under 5% significance level. Therefore, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference in the means in the sulfur content for this 5 coal seeds under this 5% significance level. Now you have identified that H naught is rejected. These are the things which we have discussed in the previous session. And now we will go for the pairwise comparison. It is because now H naught is rejected, and we will use the Bonferroni t-test to take t-test for the pairwise comparison. Then the hypothesis we are constructing here is mu I equals mu j versus, again here it should be changed. The alternative hypothesis is mu1 h1 is the mu I does not equals to mu j. Simply you can say that I treatment mean and j treatment means are equal versus I treatment mean and j treatment mean are not equal. And to use this, what the criteria you have to use is, here you have identified that if this absolute value of this statement means are greater than this quantity. To identify this quantity, what we are having so far is we do not we know about the value of MSE. It is because you have constructed the ANOVA table and now you have obtained an mean square for error, and you know about the sample size of the ith treatment mean and the ith treatment and the j treatment, but still you do not know about what is the value taking for this Tn minus k alpha by 2. It is this value has to be now identified from the t table, student t table. Then degrees of freedom would be n minus k, and since this is a two-sided test, we have to go for the alpha divided by 2. Therefore, now you have to identify this value prior for the calculation. It is because it will be easy for your calculation. Here you can see that T n minus k alpha divided by 2. Here we have identified that value of alpha is 0.05. It is because they are asking for 5% significance level, then alpha would be 0.05. Then if you consider for the alpha divided by 2, then you have to divide both sides by 2, then you will get this as 0.025. It is 0.025. Okay, now you have to identify this value from the T table. Here, degrees of freedom is 37. This value is equal to the error degrees of freedom in the ANOVA table. Now you can see that here in the error also the degrees of freedom is 37. Then you can identify this as the degrees of freedom for the T value. Now we will identify this value using the T table. I have included the T table as the annexure number 2. Now, if you go through this note until we are finding the T table, okay, here you can see this is the critical values for T distribution, and you can have this cumulative probabilities here, and in here one tail value and here two tail values are given. The percentage is given as this decimal values. Now, according to this calculation, your alpha value is equal to 0.05. Therefore, these two tails stands for the alpha and one tail is now alpha divided by 2. Therefore, you see about this value, alpha is 0.05 for two tail. Therefore, you have to consider this value. For two tail, if it is two tail, value would be 0.05, and therefore one tail would be 0.025. Alpha divided by 2 would be 0.025. Then you have to select this column to identify the value first. This would be the column you are considering, and then you have to identify the appropriate degrees of freedom. Here you can see that there is no any value for 37. Therefore, we are selecting the value which is more closer to 37. Then we will use this value. The value which is more closer to 37 is 40. Then we will take this value as 2.021. Then this is how we are referring the p table to identify the values. First of all, you have to identify the appropriate alpha value among the columns, and among the rows you have to identify the appropriate error degrees of freedom. Then you have to match the relevant row and the column, and then the intersection gives you the value for the critical value. And now what you have to do is you are now identifying this Tn minus k is the T37, alpha divided by 2 is 0.025. The value is 2.021. And you have already identified the mean square error as 0.1215. Using the ANOVA table you can obtain this value. Therefore, if you are performing this Bonferroni t-test, you can construct a table like this. In the first table it says the null hypothesis, and in the second in the first column it says the null hypothesis that you are testing, and in the second column you are having the absolute value of the difference of the treatment means, and the third column gives you the value for this quantity Tn minus k alpha divided by 2 into square root of msc times 1 over ni plus 1 over ng, and then the last column stands for the decision that you are making. First of all, you have to identify what would be the possible number of pairs. According to this example, we had five treatments. Therefore, you have to consider for this quantity, which is 5C. Since this given as k times k minus 1, k is 5, k minus 1 is 4, then this has to be divided by 2. Then if you perform the calculation, then you are getting altogether 10 possible pairs. Therefore, first of all, you have to identify all the 10 possible pairs. It would be easy for the calculation. Since you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, this would be the easiest way of identifying the pair. Then what you can do is, first of all, you have to check all the remaining pairs with 1. Then you have to omit 1 and then check the remaining pairs except 2 with 2. Then we'll see. Here you can see we are testing 1 with 2. Then 1 testing with 3. Then 1 testing with 4 and 1 testing with 5. Then you have finished all the possible testing with this treatment pair 1, treatment 1. Then you are moving to the treatment 2. It is again no need to test for the treatment 2 with treatment 1. It is because we have already finished for this treatment 1. Now it is finished. Now we are testing the remainings. Then 2 with 3 you have to test. Then 2 with 4 you have to test, and 2 with 5. Now you have finished all the possible pairs with 2 also. Then you can write 3 with 4 and 3 with 5. Therefore, 3 and 4 compared, 3 and 5 are compared. Now you have finished all the possible pairs with 3 also. And then you are considering 4. 4 has to be compared only with 5. Then you have finished 4 also. Then there is nothing now remaining to test for the comparisons. There is nothing to test for the comparison. It is because now we have already identified all the possible pairs. Okay, now based on these comparison pair numbers, you have to identify your null hypothesis. Here you can see that H naught, null hypothesis, mu1 equals mu2. First treatment mean is equal to second treatment mean. Likewise, in the next one, first treatment mean equals to third treatment mean. Next one, first treatment mean equals to fourth treatment mean. Therefore, likewise, you can construct 10 hypotheses. Now you may see what will happen if you are using this statistics. If you are taking this t equals yi bar minus yj bar divided by some quantity, then you have to do this calculation for 10 times. Therefore, it will not be that much easy. Always you have to get a t value. Therefore, it will not be easy for the manual calculation. But once you deal with the Minitab, it will give you the output using this t statistics. Therefore, in here, what you are considering is the last inequality which we have made as comparing these two quantities. This quantity we have to now compare these two quantities together. Therefore, in this column you have to identify the absolute value of the mean differences. Therefore, if you see about the first mean, you have obtained the treatment mean of the first treatment was 1.66. Mean of the second treatment was 1.17. Then mean of the third treatment mean was 1.46, and mean of the fourth treatment was 0.88, and mean of the fifth treatment was again 0.88. Now we have to identify the absolute values. Then if you subtract 1.17 from 1.66, then absolute value we say as value as 0.49. In the next one, 1 and 3, absolute value means the difference between these two. Sorry, 1 and 3, this and this, you will get value as 0.20. Likewise, you can obtain the absolute values for the difference of the treatment means. Likewise, for the last one, fourth and fifth treatment means are similar, 0.88. Then you are getting that value as 0. Now you have to use this quantity to identify the values for the third column. What you have done so far is you have now identified the value for the quantity. It was 2.021. For ITI, value is 2.021. This has to be multiplied with MSC. MSC value was 0.1215. And this has to be multiplied with 1 over Ni. What is this Ni now? N, if you consider about this case, it would be N1, and here it would be N2. Therefore, first and the second was the treatments that we are considered for the first hypothesis. Therefore, the number of elements that you can see under the first treatment. Therefore, if you see about the first treatment, now you can see that there are altogether 7 elements. In the second treatment, there are 8 elements. Therefore, what you can do is you have to substitute 7 here. Then you will get 1 over 7 plus for the next treatment, you are getting 1 over 8. Then once you perform this calculation, then you will get the value as 0.36. And if you move for the second one, you will get these two values are remaining as it is, and the only change is these two values inside the bracket. Then for the first and third sample, for the first sample, value is still 7. For the first sample, value is 7. For the first treatment, it is 7, and the third treatment value is now 9. Then you have to use this calculation. Instead of 8, now you have to use the value. Therefore, once you perform this calculation, then you would get the value for this point is 0.36. Therefore, using the same concept, you have to fill the third column. Now you have completed your second column and you have completed the third column. Now if you again look back to the decision rule or the decision criteria that we have identified here, we are considering this as the decision criteria, that if this absolute value is greater than this quantity, if the absolute value, if this absolute value is greater than this quantity, then we are rejecting H naught. Therefore, now what we have to do is we have to compare these two values. Then here you can see that 0.49 is greater than 0.36. Therefore, you can see that this is greater than. Here it is less than. Here greater than. Again greater than. Then less than, less than, less than. Here greater than, greater than, less than. If it is greater than, then you have to reject H naught. You have to reject H naught. Therefore, if this absolute value of the difference is greater than this quantity, then you have to reject H naught. Therefore, this pair is significant. Then in the second one, second hypothesis, first and third pair was compared. The value obtained was less than this, the difference was less than the obtained quantity, therefore do not reject H1, therefore it is not significant. Therefore, in the third one, again this value is greater than 0.36, therefore again it is significant. The significant can be denoted by this star notation. Therefore, after saying it is reject H0, then you can use this asterisk mark to show that it is significant. Therefore, here also in these three, again do not reject H naught means they are not significant. The 8th and 9th hypothesis, again you got as reject H naught for this hypothesis and this hypothesis. Then what we can say is again these two are significant, and for the last one we have a value which is the difference is less than the obtained quantity 0.33, therefore we are not rejecting H0, therefore this is also not significant. Now what this is what you have make as a decision, but you have to interpret it. Therefore, for the interpretation, but how we are writing is, therefore we can say that it can be concluded that there is a significant difference in coal seam 1 and 2. It is like this. Now, what is the significance obtained? Significance obtained for you, I have denoted by this red color stars. Now you can see that there is a significant difference for these two treatments. Therefore, the treatments are 1 and treatment 2. Here, 1 and 4 having a significant difference, 1 and 5 having a significant difference. Then 3 and 4 has a significant difference, 3 and 5 has a significant difference. Therefore, what you can conclude is, you can say that there is a significant difference in coal seam 1 and 2 under 5% significance level. Similarly, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference in mean sulfur content among coal seam 1 and 4. Coal seam 1 and 4. Here you can see 1 and 4 significant, coal seam 1 and 5 is significant, coal seam 3 and 4 is significant, and coal seam 3 and 5 are significant. Therefore, now this has been included 1 and 2 significant, 1 and 4 significant, 1 and 5 significant, 3 and 4 significant, and 3 and 5 significant under 5% significance level. This is how you are performing the Bonferroni t-test. Now you can see that you have clearly identified which pairs are significant, significantly different, and which pairs are not in such way. This is the second method that we are discussing under the pairwise comparison. It is the Tukey's test. In here, this method specifies an exact family significance level of comparing all pairs of treatment means. Therefore, the hypothesis is same as previous, what we have used under Bonferroni test. Therefore, under H0, you are having mu I equals mu j. Under H1, again typing mistake here. H1 mu I not equals to mu j. And if you are using this test statistics, Tukey's test, the test statistic you are using is the Q statistic. The Q statistics is defined by yi minus yj bar divided by msc times 1 over mi plus 1 over mj. The Q statistics quite similar to the t value that we have obtained previously, but once you come to the decision rule, you may identify that you are not using the same distribution. Use a you have to use a different distribution if you are using this two keys test. Therefore, the decision rule is if the absolute value of Q, if the absolute value of Q is greater than Q alpha, the degrees of freedom should be k and n minus k, and this has to be divided by square root of 2. If this quantity, this absolute value is greater than this quantity, then we are saying that we have to reject H naught. Therefore, in the place of Q, if you substitute the test statistics quantity here, then what you can obtain is absolute of the difference of means. If the absolute of difference of mean treatment means greater than this quantity, then we are rejecting H naught. Therefore, the only difference between the previous one and this one would be the quantity which appears here. Quantity which appears here. Therefore, here we are using not the T table. Here there is a table called the Q table. Here we are using Q table to obtain this value. Q alpha, K and n minus K divided by square root of 2. Here K is the number of treatments. Here K is the number of treatments and n minus k was the error degree of freedom. Error degree of freedom. This is obtained using the ANOVA table. Error degree of freedom. You can use this, use the ANOVA table to obtain this n minus k value. Okay, therefore, since we can use this as the decision criteria, then we can perform one example for the two-piece test also. Therefore, you are asked to consider the previous example regarding the mean sulfur contained among the 5 coal seams, and you are asked to perform the two-piece pairwise comparison and interpret the results. In here, first of all, you have to write down your null and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis would be mu I. In general, we are writing this mu naught, or the null hypothesis mu y equals mu j, h naught null hypothesis mu y equals mu j, h1 alternative hypothesis mu I not equals mu j. And I told you that we have to identify value for this quantity, and you are asked to perform the calculation under 5% significance level. If this value is not given, generally we are considering a level of alpha as 0.05 throughout these sessions. Then value of K, there were 5 treatments, and then error degrees of freedom n minus K. If you substitute the values also, again you can identify this is equal to 37. Therefore, now you have to identify Q 0.05 with 5 and 37. Using the table, you have to obtain this value, and then you have to divide it by square root of 2. Then we will see the annexure 3 to obtain this value. If you go for the annexure number 3, here you can say that these are the Q scores used for the two-piece method. Here you can see that value of alpha stable. Here we are having alpha is 0.05 and another one alpha is 0.01. For our calculation, we have to use this part. It is because the value of alpha is given as 0.05. Now you have to identify the appropriate values for k and n minus k. Here in this the columns they have denoted by the value for k, and the rows has given the value for degrees of freedom of error. It is the n minus k value. Then you have to identify the values from this table. If you identify the values, the appropriate column is k equals 5, Here you are having k equals 5, and then appropriate row would be n minus k, it is 37. The closer value to 37 is 40. Therefore, you have to go for this value. Then the value is 4.04. 4.04. I have taken it as 4.04. Then you can use that value for the calculation. According to the table, you have to identify this value. But if the value is given for you, you can that value directly for your calculation. Now using this 4.04, and we can perform the calculation furthermore. Therefore, what you have obtained the value as 4.04, then you have divided by square root 2, then you are getting the value as 2.8567. Once you perform this calculation, then you end up with the answer. And for the MSc, you have already identified this value from the ANOVA table, which we have used in the previous example. Mean square of error, since I am taking the same example for the cookies test, MSc is not changing, it is still 0.1215. Here also what you have to do is, first of all, you have to write down the appropriate hypotheses. Here also you will get 10 hypotheses. All the possible pairs would be compared here also. And in the next column, as previous, you have to take the absolute value of the difference of the treatment mean. Therefore, easily you can obtain the values as previous. You have to just, what you have to do is, this, here you are having the I treatment mean, you are having the I treatment mean, here you are having the J treatment mean. Therefore, you have to take the difference among these two, and then you have to take the absolute value. Here you can see that absolute values are 0.49, 0.2, 0.78. Likewise, the table continues until you are getting the mean difference for the fourth and the fifth treatment mean. And then uh, you have to identify a value for this quantity. Therefore, if I am doing the first example for you, if I do the first example, the first row, the value that you have obtained was 2.8567. The value that you have obtained is 2.8567, and this has to be multiplied with the square root of MSc is 0.1215. 0.1215. Then you have to consider the I observation in I treatment, observation in J treatment. First treatment we had 7 observation, and in the second treatment we had 8 observation. Therefore, this quantity gives you the value as 0.52. Then for the second row, the only change is 1 with 3. In the third treatment, we had 9 observations. Therefore, you end up with the calculation as 0.50. Now, what you have to do is you have to use the decision criteria to uh, take the decision for this hypothesis testing. Therefore, what you have obtained was, if this absolute value, the difference of the absolute value of the difference is greater than this quantity, then you have to reject H naught. Here, therefore, what we are doing is we are comparing these two columns. Here, this value is, here you can see that this value is less than, here also less than, here it is greater than, here greater than, less than, less than. Therefore, what you can do is, now if this value is greater than, you are taking the decision as you are going to reject H naught. Therefore, if you are rejecting H naught, then you can say that it is significant. Likewise, you can use a star notation or this asterisk notation to say which pairs are significantly different from each other. Therefore, if you perform the calculation in this way, then you end up with a table like this, and then you can say you can perform, or you can perform the test, and you can interpret the results, and you can take the decision. Therefore, it can be seen that there is a significant difference in again Colsim, which have the differences. 1 and 2 does not show. 1 and 4 shows the difference. 1 and 5 shows the difference. And then 1 4 1 5 shows. Then 3 4 and 3 5. Therefore, here you can say that 1 and 4, not the 1 and 2, 1 and 4 shows a significant difference. Therefore, here I can omit this since it is written previously. Therefore, 1 and 5, 3 and 4, and 3 and 5 has a significant difference. Therefore, when you are using the Tukey's test for the comparison, you will get this result. Now we will move for the third one. Third one is the Duncan's multiple range test. And in this method, again we are testing we are performing comparison between the treatment means, but in here we are not going to identify them in the manner of previous years. There is slightly different calculation procedure in the Duncan's multiple range test. Actually, once you compare with the previous two methods, the calculation procedure is somewhat complex, but if you identify the pattern, then it will be easy. Here we are using the concept called the rankings based on the mean values they are obtained. Thereafter, we are performing the calculation. Okay, in this method, instead of comparing the difference between any two means with a constant least significant difference, each pair of means is compared against a different critical value, which depends on the rank of these means in the ordered array. It is like this. Now think about, if you see about the previous examples, in here we had a critical value. If you just see about this was the critical value we have obtained. In the previous one, t value was the critical value which we have obtained. Therefore, this is the critical value. Therefore, in here, in the Q table, this was the critical value. Therefore, throughout these calculations, we are comparing the treatment means for a constant least significant difference. But in the Duncan's multiple range, each pair of mean is compared against a different critical value. That is the difference between the previous methods and this method. And the identification of the critical value is depends on the rank of these means in the ordered. Therefore, if you are performing the Duncan's multiple range test, you have to first of all rank the treatment means in the ascending order or descending order. Normally we are using the ascending order. Therefore, if you see about the calculation procedure, first of all we have to arrange the treatment means in the ascending order. After arranging them in the ascending order, you have to identify the least significant studentized range. It is denoted by simple RP, and this P is going from 2, 3 up to K. K is the number of treatments or number of populations you can see in your experiment. And for each of these P equals 2, 3 up to K, you have to again identify a value called capital RP. Here, combining this RP with this MSE, you are obtaining this capital RP. Therefore, if you are using the Duncan's multiple range test, you have to pay your attention whether the sample sizes are equal or whether the sample sizes are not equal. If the sample sizes are equal, capital RP is obtained using the notation simple RP into square root of MSC divided by N. If they are having equal sample size, having each sample having n number of observations. So each treatment having n number of observations. But if the sample sizes are not equal, you are getting this capital RP using simple RP into square root of MSE. After obtaining this capital quantity for capital RP, what you have to do is you have to identify the difference between the treatment means. Therefore, when you are identifying the difference between treatment means, always you are starting from the largest value. Therefore, first comparison would be always with the largest versus the smallest. Therefore, now think about if you are having three population means. Now think about 1, 2, and 3. Therefore, now if this has the highest value, if this has the highest value, and if this has the lowest value, then first of all what you have to do is you have to compare the highest value with the lowest value. Therefore, first of all you have to test for this. Then highest value is then compared with the next lowest value. Then highest is compared with next lowest value. Therefore, using this method until you are finishing uh, all the possible compares with this highest, you have to do this. After that, you have to go for the second highest, and you have to repeat the same thing. You have to go for the second highest, and you have to perform the same thing. Therefore, this is somewhat complex to understand, but if we are discuss this in the using an example, you feel that it will be really easy. Even though it is just stated in the lengthy way, you can easily understand once you are performing this using an example. And then we have to perform the hypothesis testing using this one. Therefore, our null hypothesis would be mu I equals mu j as previous, and here also we are considering this absolute value of differences. If we are having equal sample size, then if this absolute greater than capital RP value, then we have to reject H naught. And for the unequal sample sizes, if the absolute value times square root of 2 times ni nj divided by ni plus nj, I and j, ni and nj are the observations we can see in the I treatment and the j treatment. Therefore, if this quantity is greater than rp, then we are rejecting h naught, and this is used for the unequal sample size. And if you see the previous example, if you consider about the previous example regarding the mean sulfur content in the coal seam, then we'll see how we can perform the Duncan's multiple range test and how we can interpret the results. Okay, this is how we are performing it. First of all, we have to write down the null and alternative hypothesis. Here null hypothesis H naught mu I equals mu j versus alternative would be H1 mu I does not equals mu j. And if you see about the mean values for the treatment, for the first treatment you obtain mean as 1.66, second treatment 1.17, third treatment 1.46, fourth treatment 0.88, fifth treatment 0.8. Then we have to rank these treatment means. Therefore, if you give the 1 for the largest and 5 for the smallest, since we are having 5, then 1, 3, 2, 4, and 5 would be the ranks for this treatment means. After that, what we have to do is, in the first step, they are asked to arrange the treatment means in the ascending order. Ascending order means starting from the lowest, you have to go with for the highest value. Therefore, if you rearrange the order rearrange the terms in the ascending order, then fifth treatment, fourth mean, second mean, third treatment mean, and first treatment will be come up in this ordered array. Fifth treatment, fourth treatment, second treatment, third treatment, first treatment. Now you can see that there is not in the exact as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are now arranged in the ascending order. After identifying or after writing them in the ascending order, then what you have to do is, in the second step, what they are saying that you have to identify these RP values. You have to identify the RP values, studentized range, least significant studentized range denoted by this RP. Therefore, this RP values has to be obtained for P equals 2 to K. Here, P is always starting from 2, then 2, 3, 4, and 5, since we are having the number of treatments equals to 5. And then to obtain the values for the simple RP, you have to identify this. You have to refer this annexure 4, and now we will see how we can obtain these values. Here values for P equals to, value for P equals 3, value for P equals 4, and value of P equals 5 should be identified. Therefore, if you refer for annexure 4, now you can see that this is the table for Duncan's multiple range test, and here you can see that the columns are named using the number of treatments, or the value of P 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. Likewise, we are having some values, and here you can see the degrees of freedom. Here also, this degrees of freedom stands for the error degrees of freedom. For this calculation, what we had was, we had this error degrees of freedom as 37. Therefore, we will try to find 37. If not possible, we will go for a value which is very closer to this 37. Therefore, here you can see that 37 exactly includes in here. Then now we have to identify the row with 37. Then what you have to do is, you have to identify the column with P equals 2. Here you can see that column of P equals 2. You see about this column, you can understand how we are getting the value for 37. Now you can see that value is 2.865. Therefore, likewise, in the P equals 3, it should be the next column. P equals 3, P equals 3 is the second column. Then if you see about the second column, value is 3.013. Value is 3.013. If you see this column, then value is 3.013, and for the P equals 4, value is 3.109, and then last one is value of P equals 5, value is 3.178. Therefore, these are the values that you have identified for P equals 2, P equals 3, P equals 4, and P equals 5. Therefore, these are the values obtained. Then we'll write them in the table. Now, for the value of P, you have identified the appropriate values for RP: 2.865, 3.013. Likewise, you have obtained these values. Now, using these RP values, you have to obtain this capital RP values. Therefore, now think about this example. You may remember that there were unequal number of observations in the treatment. First treatment you had 7 observations, in the next one 8, in the next one 9, in the next one 8, and next one there were 10 observations. Therefore, you can see that there is unequal number of observations in these treatments. Therefore, since you are having unequal numbers, you have to use this equation. You have to use this equation to obtain the value for RP. To obtain the value of RP, you have to use this equation, since you are having unequal number of observations in given treatment. And you have already identified that value of MSC is equal to 0.1215. Then what you can do is, you can use this equation. RP equals RP times square root of MS. Here now you are having separate values for RP, then for MSC 0.1215, was the value that you have obtained. And here for p equals 2, first of all you have to obtain, for p equals 2 you have to obtain a value. Now once you substitute 2.865 here, if you substitute 2.865 here, then you will get value for rp equals 0.999. And if you are coming with p equals 3, then what will you get is, for rp you can say value is 3.013, and then this has to be multiplied with the square root of 0.1215. Likewise, you can obtain the values easily. Then you can obtain this value as 1.050. Then for p equals 4, p equals 5, you have to obtain the values of this rp. Now you can see that based on this rp, you are making these decisions. Therefore, now you can see that in the previously you have used one critical value, but here according to the number of pairs comparing, according to the value of p, now we are obtaining several critical values. Therefore, this is the difference between the previous methods and this Duncan's multiple range test. Okay, now you have to identify the treatment pairs according to the highest and lowest value. Therefore, if you see about this arrange or this ordered array, you can see that highest treatment mean is having for the first highest treatment mean is having for the first treatment, and lowest is having for fifth treatment. Therefore, first of all, you have to compare this 1 with 5. Since it has the highest difference, highest one with the lowest one. Then next lowest is 4. Then 1 with 4. Then next lowest value is 2. Then next lowest value is 1. Now this is how you are identifying these treatment pairs. 1 with 5, 1 with 5, then again 1 with 4, then 1 with 2, and 1 with 3. Now you have finished the highest mean value in this array. Then you come to the second highest one. Then second highest one again compared with the least value, this 0.88 of fifth one, 3 with 5, then 3 with 4, and 3 with 2. Then you have finished for the second highest. Then third highest is with the treatment 2. Then 2 with 5 is compared, 2 with 4 is compared. Now it is also finished. Then 4 and 5 should be compared. It is because next highest is treatment 4 and it has to be only compared with treatment 5. Therefore, I told you at this point, even though this fourth step is stated lengthy, it is really easy since if you are using it using example. Therefore, these are the treatment pairs that you are obtained. Now you have to identify the value of P. Among these 1 and P, how many pairs we are having? 1, 2, 3 up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Therefore, value of P is 5. Then 1 and 4, 1 and 4, these are the 1 and 5 is here and here. Therefore, altogether you are having 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then you compared 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 3. Then 1 and 3 compared, then 1 and 2. That is how you have obtained this P value for P. 5, 4, 3, 2. Then you are starting from 3, the second highest. Second highest is 3, 3 with 5. Then altogether 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then 3 and 4 was checked, then value of P would be 1, 2 and 3. Then 3 and 2 compared, therefore value of P is 2. There, likewise, you can identify the value of P also. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, and now you can identify the value as 2. Then taking the absolute difference and using the appropriate values for the number of observation in treatments, you can do the substitution and you can obtain these values. Just using the substitution, you can obtain these values. And then now you have already identified the RP values associated with these P values. Therefore, for value of P equals 5, there was a value for RP. Therefore, if you see about this table, when value of P equals 5, RP was 1.108. When P is equal to 4, value is 1.084. When P is 3, value is 1.050. When P is 2, value is 0.99. Likewise, you have to write the values. Here these RP values are based on the value of P. Therefore, appropriate value for this P should be written in this fourth column. Then what you have to do is you have to compare these two columns. This column, third column and fourth column will be compared to make the decision. Therefore, if you compare them, then here this value is greater than, greater than, greater than, less than, greater than, greater than, less than, less than, less than, less than. If we are having the greater than values, then you are saying that you are rejecting H naught and it would be a significant difference. Therefore, significance can be denoted using this asterisk notation in the top right corner. Then if you are rejecting H naught means these treatment pairs are significant, and if you are not rejecting, it means that there is no significant difference in mean. Therefore, in here you can see say that 1 and 3 has the same means, same treatment means. Here third treatment and second treatment has same mean. Second treatment and fifth treatment has same mean. There is no significant difference. Okay, therefore, if identifying these significant values, then you can make your conclusion. Then you can say that coal seam 1 and 5 has a significant difference. 1 and 4 has a significant difference. 1 and 2 has a significant difference. 3 and 5 has a significant difference. 3 and 4 has a significant difference. Therefore, this is how you are making the conclusions based on these results. Therefore, you have to state it in this way. Therefore, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference in coal seam 1 and 5 and coal seam 1 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 5 and 3 and 4 under 5% significance level. Then the next method that we are considering is the Dunnett test. In the Dunnett test, I told you that this test can be used if we are comparing a treatment with a control. Sometimes when we are designing the experiment, we cannot just deal with the treatments only. We have to make a control as we are naming this as treatment 0 and we are defining it as a control. As an example, now think that if you need to check the effect of a vitamin, if you need to test the effect of a vitamin A, vitamin B and vitamin C. If you are just adding the vitamins or some, we'll see about this rather than saying these vitamins, then these vitamins are added to these plants using the water. But first of all, we are dissolving these vitamins in the water and then we are spraying them to these plants. Therefore, uh, if you are having another set of plants, then here we are saying that we are just adding water on. Therefore, in a situation like this, we are just adding water only. We are not adding any uh, outside material other than water. Here we are adding it vitamin A as the outside material. Here vitamin B as the outside material. Here vitamin C as the outside material. Therefore, since we are adding the water only, then we can say this as my control, and this is the first treatment, second treatment, third treatment. Therefore, this is how we are designing experiments with the control. Therefore, in such a situation, sometimes you have to check your treatments with the control. By checking the treatments with the control, you can identify that there is a treatment effect. Actually, if these treatments are compared with this control, you can say that for these plants, you have just added the water only. for these plants you have just added the uh, vitamin A with the water. Therefore, vitamin A is the outside material that you have, or the outside element that you have added to these plants. Therefore, if there is significant growth, then you can identify it just by comparing these two, this and this. And if you need again, then you have to test for these two, and then you have to test for these two, so 0 and C. Therefore, once you are going to test these with the control, then you can use this Dunner test. Therefore, in the Dunner test, the null hypothesis is always mu naught equals mu I. Mu naught is says that the treatment mean of the control, treatment mean of the control equals to treatment mean of A versus treatment mean of control not equals to the treatment of I treatment. Therefore, I goes from 1 to k. Here we are using the test statistic as yi bar minus y naught bar. Always here y naught bar is used. It is because we are comparing the treatment with the control, and divided by MSC times 1 over Ni plus 1 over N naught. Ni is the observations in the eye treatment, and not stands for the observations in the control. Therefore, if this absolute value of D is greater than this critical value, then we are saying that we are rejecting H0. Therefore, easiness of the calculation, we are substituting this quantity, in here, and then we can obtain the inequality in this form. If this absolute value of this difference between treatment and the control greater than this quantity, then we are rejecting H naught, and where K is the number of treatments, and and here we are having V is the error degrees of freedom in the ANOVA table. Sometimes rather than saying V, it is named as mu also. Okay, this is an example for this Dunner test. Here they are having the consider the experimental data in the table, where effect of three catalysts on the yield of a reaction is being studied. A fourth treatment, no catalyst is used as a control. Therefore, to identify the effect of catalyst, presence of catalyst, then they have performed an experiment, and they have had a control sample. They are having a control sample without adding any catalyst. Therefore, no catalyst is said to be this control sample. Therefore, here also, first of all, they are having actually zero treatment, first treatment, second treatment, third treatment. Therefore, altogether they are having now four treatments, but we are starting the notations from 0, 1, 2, and 3. Then in here also, first of all, without thinking about this control law treatment, first of all, you have to run the ANOVA. Therefore, to run the ANOVA, now you can think that there are three treatments, there are four treatments altogether. For it is for the ANOVA only. For the ANOVA, you can identify this also as a treatment, and by assuming that, you can perform the ANOVA. Therefore, for the ANOVA, you can say that mu naught equals mu1, mu2 equals mu3. At least two of them are differ, or at least one of differ from other. Therefore, this is how you are obtaining the ANOVA table. In here, the ANOVA table, there were four treatments. There are four treatments including the control. There are 4 degrees of freedom for treatment for 3, and performing the calculation, they have obtained error degrees of freedom as 16. Then according to this, they had the F ratio as 9.82. Then if they compared it with the F table value or the critical value, they have identified the degrees for F table as 3 and 16. Then they obtained the value at 3.3239. It is the critical value. Once the calculated F value compared with the critical value, then we can say that H naught is rejected under 5% significance level. Therefore, it can be concluded that at least one treatment mean is differ from others. Then they have to compare which treatment is differ from others. But rather than the previous methods, here we are just need to compare whether which treatment is actually differ from the control. Therefore, with the control, they are comparing these treatments. Therefore, hypothesis would be mean of the control equals to the mean of I treatment versus alternative would be mean of the control does not equals to the mean of I treatment. And using this table for the, we are saying it as the critical values for the Dannett table, using the critical values for Dannett table, you can identify this quantity. Therefore, here we have to identify value of alpha as 0.05 and K is the number of treatments. Here what you have to pay your attention is, here we are considering number of treatments excluding the control. Therefore, if you exclude the control, there were 3 treatments. But in here, we had to use all the 4 treatments. It is because this control is also considered as a treatment for constructing the ANOVA table. But once you are performing this pairwise comparison using Dannett method, you are taking this K is equal to 3. Here we are saying this K is the number of treatments excluding the control, and V is the error degrees of freedom. Therefore, in simply, you can consider the treatment degree of freedom and the error degree of freedom as the values for K and V. Simply, you can take this treatment degree of freedom and error degree of freedom for K and V. Therefore, if you refer this Annex 5, Annex number 5, you can see that number of treatment means here it says that excluding control, but some situations they are saying that including control. If it says as the including control, you have to say that now this value of K is equal to 4 if it is including, but here they are saying it as the excluding the control. Therefore, we have to deal with the values as this. Excluding control means we have to say there are 3 treatments. Therefore, we have to identify value of K is equal to now. Then in here you can identify the error degrees of freedom. In here they have identified that the error degrees of freedom as 16. Error degrees of freedom was 16. Therefore, once we mesh the row and the column, then we will get the critical value as 2.5. This is how we are using the table for critical values for Dannett's method. This is how you are using. Therefore, when you are using this method, you have to pay the attention on this, whether they are excluding, they are giving the values excluding the control or including the control. Since they are excluding the control, you have to have the number of K as 3. It is because altogether we had 4 treatments, but one of them was a control. Therefore, now what we have to do is we have already identified the value, and then you have to obtain the absolute difference between the treatment mean and the control mean. Therefore, once you obtain the difference between the I treatment mean and the control, then you can get this as the absolute value. And then uh, since we are having equal number of observations in the treatment, you will get the same value. Therefore, you can get you can substitute the values like this. Here this value is 2.59, and then this has to be multiplied with MSC was, you will have obtained the MSC as 2.30. We have obtained the value was 2.30, and then 1 divided by number of elements was 5, and number of elements in the control is also 5. Therefore, using this calculation, then we can obtain value as 2.48. Since we are having equal sample sizes, you can use the same value. It is because none of these values are changing. The only varying value should be this Ni. Since we are having equal number of observations inside these treatments, then we do not need to change the values. Therefore, now you have to compare the values. Then Here it is less than value, greater than value, again less than value. Therefore, if you look about this decision criteria, if this value is greater than this, then you can have rejecting H naught. Therefore, only the second treatment with the control, once you compare them, then you have to reject H naught. For the others, it says that there is no significant difference between control and first treatment mean as well as control and the third treatment mean. Therefore, it can be concluded that there is a significant difference between the control and the catalyst too. Therefore, if you see about these two means, what you can see is we have already identified that there is a difference between control and the catalyst. Therefore, what you can see is for the control you have the mean as 51.44. Here the presence of catalyst mean was 54.04. Therefore, you can see that presence of catalyst, it has a positive, it is affected positively on the yield of reaction. Therefore, if you see about these two values, then catalyst 2 has a high mean value. Therefore, once you compare it with the control, you can say that there is a uh, the presence of catalyst 2 has positively effect on the yield of the reaction. But if you see about the control with catalyst 1, there is no significant difference. Even though catalyst 1 you can use, or else you can just use the control even. Therefore, if these presence of these catalysts are, if we now think about, if you are planning an experiment with some expensive materials, then in such a situation, rather than using such expensive materials, you can just use a control in a case like this. But if you just need to use these materials, then you can just perform it using this catalyst 2 only. It is because presence of this catalyst 1 and presence of this catalyst 3 is not affected on the yield. It is same as control. There is no significant difference. Therefore, only the catalyst 2 shows a significant difference among the yield. Therefore, this is how we are performing the pairwise comparisons, and thank you all for joining with the today's session.